Hi everyone, it's Raz from the Semi-Retired Samurai. I hope you're doing well, wherever you are in the world. So today I want to talk to you about the safest way to test a side income without risking your full-time job. Now, you probably had a overwhelming boss, overbearing boss, and maybe you're just tired of what you're doing. Maybe that was not meant for you to work in that profession. So today is a day that you decide that you're going to take that step and try something new and build a new career, possibly, maybe a part-time income to make you feel a little bit less stressed about the finances. So the problem that's keeping most people back is maybe you have a mortgage, you have family, you have kids to support, and maybe you make a high salary and you can't afford to leave the job and go all in on a business. So I faced this problem probably about 20 years ago when I started my first business. And the decision I made was based largely on a series of events that happened in my career. But one of the incidents that was one of the final straw was I worked for a software company and I was doing the QA testing. And one time I got a promotion and they said, they made it sound so good that I was going to get this wonderful promotion. And I asked them about the pay. And they said, well, no, we're not going to increase your pay, but we're going to increase your responsibility. And to me, I thought that was a bad deal. So I turned it down. But the one thing that really stung was they had a referral program. So if I had referred a friend or colleague and they got hired by the company, I was to get a $1,000 referral bonus. Well, I'm very good at connecting people and bringing quality people into the company. So I referred two people to the company. I ended up getting $2,000 out of it. And then I referred a third person, and my manager called me into the office and sat me down and said, well, we know you referred a third person, but we don't have the money in the budget to pay you the $1,000 referral fee. And of course I thought, okay, well, no problem. There's no money, me being naive at the time, then that's okay. You know, I'm a team player. So, so I just forgot about it. And then probably about a few weeks later, my colleague who sat across from me, he brought in a friend that lasted for 1 week and quit. But he ended up getting $1,000. So I thought to myself, well, why did you tell me that I wasn't going to get a referral bonus because there's no money in the budget, but you were to give it to my colleague across me? So that seemed very dirty, underhanded, unfair to me. Of course, you know, I didn't want to rock the boat, so I didn't bring it up. But I realized then, after all these years, that I was just living a complete sham. And this was a horrible deal to go to work for somebody. So I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to work for anybody again. And that was probably the final straw that broke the camel's back for me to decide that entrepreneurship and working for myself was the way I wanted to go for the rest of my life. Now, I want to explain to you how I went about it and things that you should watch out for if you're starting a new business, because you don't want to just jump right into it and risk everything. Because for me, that was just not my style. I like to start small. I like to be a little bit more on a more safer side. So the first thing I could recommend is start small, very, very small test. You can start a lot of businesses that don't require a lot of money. For example, this YouTube channel doesn't cost a lot of money. You just have to stay consistent, right? And also online business usually doesn't cost, you know, a lot of money. So things like that. I started about $1,000 when I started. I bought some martial arts equipment, which cost me a few $100s. And I just needed a hockey bag to carry all the equipment. And I just drove to different venues to teach my lessons. And that's how I got started. So the second thing that you want to look for is once you prove that you're able to make some income consistently, then that's the time to grow your business further. For me, I remember making my first month of business, I made $800. And that was a great, great, great side income. So I continued on with that for 2 months, and then I scaled my business a little bit, and I was able to make, before you know it, what, roughly, I think, if I recall, probably about $3,000 within the third month. And that was monthly, and eventually it became a six-figure business where I was making $13,000, $12,000, $14,000 months. So that's when I knew that I was able to leave my full-time job. And the third thing I want to recommend is to make sure that you don't sign any long-term leases. There was a time within probably the first 6 months that I thought of getting my own location. And luckily I didn't, because I would have been stuck with the lease for 5 years, and I would have, if there was a downturn in the business, I would have been in a lot of trouble financially. And the fourth thing I didn't do was I didn't tell anyone outside of my wife and my immediate family that I was starting a business, because there's going to be enough people telling you that you're crazy for starting a business, and that you should stay in your safe job and not think about this fantasy of working for yourself. And I try not to let it get to me, but if you're hearing it from everybody, it does get a little bit annoying. And nobody wants to hear negativity and that you're not going to make it as a business person. So I think if I had more people telling me that, or maybe making fun of me that I wasn't going to make it in business, it probably would have been a little bit tougher. It could have weighed on my mind. It could have made me hesitant and maybe second guess my decision. And the fifth one was once I had consistent demand and steady income for 6 months without me pushing really hard for business, the clients started referring business to me. And I started to grow my client base that way. And that's when I really knew that I made the right decision. And the one thing I really, I guess, really hit it home was when I realized how much I loved owning my own business and how much I enjoyed going to work. And for the first time in my life, that was the greatest feeling in the world, to wake up on Monday morning ready to go and not to have those a pit in your stomach, or to be nervous about going to work and just hating your days. So that was really probably a big aha moment for me, and where I felt really, really, free. It's because I was able to make my own decisions and to basically carve out what my role and what I want the business and vision to look like. And the next one, and the last one, is to avoid quitting too early, because you really have to give this business a chance. I think so many of us, when we see videos now of influencers, they always talk about selling your dream of getting rich quick. And it doesn't happen that way. I don't know anybody that's self-made millionaire that was overnight success. Really, it takes a lot of time to build, a lot of patience and consistency, a lot of failures, a lot of things. I've done a lot of deals that have gone sideways, but you know what? You always learn from those things, and that's a part of the education. Just going there and doing it and learning as you go. I'm not saying to be reckless, right? But to be measured. But it's got to be. You can't expect to, if it doesn't make money right away, that is ultimate failure. So for me, I see a lot of people see me now, and they're like, "Wow, you're so lucky to have what you have," but they didn't see, years and years ago where I had ups and downs, and years where I made almost, nothing. And this is the first time in a long time that the last few years, that I've been taking vacations regularly, because before I didn't take vacation for years. because all the money was being reinvested into the company. But I stuck with it because there was a prize at the end of all this for the hard work, and I want to see it through. So that's my message today to all of you, is to start slowly, be patient, and really, when you start your business, look at ways that you can continue to educate yourself on growing your business. Read books, study courses, ask if there's other people in your industry that can help mentor you, because those are very valuable experiences. And there's nothing that I studied in school, I believe, in my opinion, that could have helped me in my business. Everything was done through experience on the job. So hopefully that inspires you and gives you some idea on what it takes if you're deciding to start your own side income and a side business, and hopefully it all works out for you. And I wish you all the best of luck. And if you found my video helpful and inspiring, then please feel free to like and subscribe and check out my next video. All right, talk to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.